God bless God's people on this wonderful Monday evening. Welcome to another Straight Truth Moment with ELS, better known as Pastor Langford Stevens III of Banfield Outreach Ministries. I wanted to jump on this Monday evening. Um, I believe the Lord has given me a word for you guys on a subject that has affected all of us in life. We deal with it on a daily basis, some of us. But God is going to deliver us and free us and liberate us from what I want to talk about, manipulators. Manipulation happens on your job, in your relationship, in your family, your friends, your religion, and as you see, even in your government. So, what is a manipulator? Let's get right into it. Manipulator is a person who controls or influences others in a clever and unhonest way. A manipulator is a person who controls or influences others in a clever and honest way. Let me give you a couple of scriptures that I want to read before I get into my notes on this subject of uh, manipulators tonight. Matthew 7, chapter 7, verse 15 says, beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are wolves. 2 Corinthians 11 and 14 says, and wonder, for even Satan disguises himself as an angel of life. Matthew 24 and 4 says, and Jesus answered them, see that no one leads you astray. How do we deal with this trap and bondage of manipulators? Okay. And like I said before, for manipulators, just not going to be a good message for you, because tonight, those that you are manipulating are going to be on to your schemes and your plots and your clever and unhonest ways. And so I encourage those who are dealing with manipulators, those who know somebody that's dealing with manipulators, master manipulators, share the message, right? I want this message to go around the world, right? It's not something new that we never heard before, but this is my version of what God has given me to help those. I've dealt with it myself, okay? A manipulator has a sickness that causes them to always want to control and influence other people in a clever and honest and unhonest way. It's a sickness that the enemy has put on them, and they have agreed, because a lot of manipulators get what they want, but in the end, death will be their reward. James said, okay, because the answer to this, before I get into my note, James said in chapter 4, verse 7, he says, so humble yourself before God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. What a powerful revelation from James, because he's simply telling us to resist the devil. When you resist manipulators, right, they will no longer try to manipulate you, because they have no use for you. Manipulators will always try to get you to do something for them, right? And if you don't, their manipulation goes to another level, whether they're taking something from you, okay, holding something from you, threatening to do something to you. Manipulators come with every type of scream and aggression when you resist them and don't let them manipulate you at all. But we're going to be free from that, right? We're going to slap the devil right in his face on this Monday evening. And I'm going to talk about the subject, manipulators only complicate what they can't manipulate. I need you to hear me tonight. Manipulators, people that are manipulators, they only complicate what they can't manipulate. Whatever they can't manipulate, they complicate, right? They give you issues. They give you problems. They do anything they can do to bring you down, to keep you from being the happiest version of yourself because you have not fallen for their manipulation, and they're going to try to complicate your life as much as possible. So I want you to follow along with me on tonight as we deal with manipulators on our jobs, in our relationships. Yes, our relationships. Husband and wife, girlfriend and boyfriend, fiance and bride to be, whatever type of relationship, kids, mothers and fathers of kids, manipulators, family, friends, religion, government. Let's get into my notes. I want you to follow me closely. And as you follow me, I hope that you learn something, learn how to handle this manipulation that you've been trapped in, the Lord said, for years of your life. And I want to help free you on tonight through the word of God. What drives people to negatively manipulate others? I need you to hear me closely. On the surface, it's an obvious attempt to get what they want. But psychologically, we know behaviors are motivated by deeper factors. The overriding element in chronic psychological manipulation is always an issue of power and control. I need you to hear me. Manipulators are driven by a need for power and control over every situation. Do you know anybody like that? Hear me out. In some cases, this can arise from past trauma in an attempt to predict what is coming their way and make themselves feel safer in the moment. In more devious, what I call circumstances, it is a method of controlling others for outcomes like personal leverage, a need to feel better than anyone else, a bid for attention, or a desire to have an advantage. Manipulators who crave power and advantage over others will often resort to scheming to obtain what they want. I need you to hear me. They use emotions to dominate others for attention, seeking purposes, particularly when they feel situations are outside of their sphere of influence. In fact, many I call them chronic manipulators, will avoid situations they don't feel they have control over. Why? because they prefer predictable outcomes that line up with their own wants. Chronic manipulators may have started using these tactics as survival methods, a form of self-preservation, or even in response to feeling of personal inadequacy. Oh, y'all got to hear me. However, when these actions spiral to the point of disrupting otherwise healthy relationships, they become damaging. And these are the situations that create unhealthy and dangerous interpersonal environments over time. And these behaviors can become what I call pathological. But understanding what drives manipulators to treat others in such unhealthy ways is vital to recognizing it and taking the necessary steps to stop it. Yes, you're recognizing this pathological behavior that you see from the person who's manipulating you or always trying to manipulate you. And like I said, it's vital to recognize it. And you need to take the necessary steps today, right, to stop it. But only, hear me out, only when you understand a behavior can you truly intervene to try to meet that need in a healthier way. You must recognize that you are being manipulated. Okay? You must recognize first that you are being manipulated. Okay? Come out of the denial. Okay? I don't care what type of status your relationship with the other person or people are. You must first recognize. And when you recognize that, you can begin to meet the need, that need of being released from manipulation in a healthier way. We said, James says, humble yourselves before God. See, that's the first step. Okay? You have to hear me what I'm saying tonight. In order to defeat manipulation, okay, you must humble yourself first before God. Then you must resist the devil. You must resist the manipulator. And the Bible says, and the devil will flee from you. Notice when you stop letting a person, see, some of us get weak at times, and sometimes we let the manipulator have their way, sometimes we don't, right? And we can really know that they're manipulating us, right? But when they get very desperate, they begin to be mean, vindictive, right? We used to call them Indian givers. They'll give you something and they want to take it back. They'll stop doing things for you, right? Okay. Doing things that they know fulfill you or they know that makes you happy. Manipulators will go to the extreme to have their way. And it is the highest level of one of the devil's weapons that he used is manipulation. Those people are just blind and they are like vultures, right? And they go after anybody, especially people with a good heart. Believers, people that are soft towards God, okay? And they love hard, right? People that value relationship, manipulators take advantage of them, right? Okay? Manipulators even go to a point if you have children, if you're a woman, you have children by them. The man will begin to manipulate you because he has children with you. Or the woman would begin to manipulate the man because she has children by him. And so they begin to fight against each other, begin to hold things back, begin to blackmail each other, whatever, threaten each other, right? It's all manipulation. People who manipulate others have common traits that you can look for. I want you to listen to me tonight. People who manipulate others, they have common traits that you and me can look for. What do they include? I'm glad to tell you. First, they know your weakness and how to exploit them. See, a manipulator, they study you and they know your weakness and how to exploit them, right? They use your insecurities against you. Somebody gonna hear me tonight. Manipulators use your insecurities, right, against you. They convince you to give up something important to you to make you more dependent on them. Oh, that's a big one there. If you notice how a manipulator operate, okay, let's go over them again. I believe I'm talking to somebody tonight that is really in tune with this message. Share this message, by the way, with those who are going through manipulation. Even if you're going through yourself. What do manipulators do? They know your weaknesses and how to exploit them. They use your insecurities. They know your insecurities, but they use them against you. They convince you to give up something important to you to make you dependent on them. Okay? They'll tell you, I don't want you to work. Give up your job. Okay? Let that car go. Okay? That's what manipulators do. They never want you to be on your feet. They want you to depend on them. They are master manipulators. A manipulator will try to bring you out of your comfort zone and places that you are familiar with to have an advantage over you. That's what a manipulator do. They don't never want to meet you in your comfort zone. They want to take you out of your comfort zone, where you good at, where you solid at. They want to move you from that familiar place so they can have advantage over you. And this can be in any place that the manipulators feel ownership of or in control. A manipulator will lie to you, make excuses, blame you, or strategically share facts about them and withhold other truths. Oh, y'all got to hear me. And in doing this, they feel that they are gaining power over you and gaining what I call intellectual superiority. Okay? They think they're smarter than you. Okay? And so when they withhold truths from you and they withhold, they make excuses, they blame you, they share facts about them and withhold truths and withhold other truths. And it makes them feel like they're gaining power over you and gaining intellectual, right, superiority over you. So in closing, I want to give you ways to deal with a manipulative person. First, I want to talk about handling interactions with them. Okay? How do you handle interactions with a manipulator? First, you need to stay calm. A manipulator may try to get a rise out of you or have you respond emotionally instead of rationally. And when speaking with a manipulator, stay calm and in control. They hate that, right? Don't get swept up by the moment or taken advantage of because you are kind. Take some deep breaths. I need you to hear me to help you feel calm in your thinking and in your body. Two, you need to learn how to say no firmly. Okay? A lot of us don't know how to say no to manipulators. Okay? They come with making you feel guilty, giving you every reason on why you should say yes. Okay? But remember what I said. Let's go back to what I said a manipulator is. Okay? I said a manipulator is a person who controls or influences others in a clever, notice I said clever, and unhonest way. They clever, but they unhonest. Learn to say no firmly. You have the right to say no and not feel guilty. Okay? You also have the right to put your own priorities first. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Okay? A manipulator always make you feel guilty about you putting you first and your priorities first. Stand your ground when you say no. Say no and mean it. Right? I don't care what the manipulator say to you. I don't care how many threats or what they say they're not going to do for you. Okay? Resist you, reject you. When you say no, you stand your ground on no. And make sure the person knows that once you say no, you mean it. And there's no budging you. And last point I want to make, you need to assert yourself and be heard. Okay? Manipulators always try to dominate the conversations, right? Because they constantly trying to take control of every aspect of your life. So they're always trying to dominate, overtalk you. But you need to assert yourself to be heard. Make sure you get a say in what happens and that you make your voice heard. Make your voice heard to these people or persons that are manipulating you. Okay? Make your voice heard. And whatever they do, like I said before, let them do what they want to do. Because James said, as long as you humble yourself before God and you resist the devil, guess what? That manipulator gonna flee from you. I don't care how much, I know you may love them or care for them or whatever the situation may be. But because they are a master manipulator, that's a seed from the devil. Okay? And they will go to any extreme. And if they don't, here's the thing about a manipulator. When they can't manipulate you, they're going to go somewhere else and get what they can get from somebody else because they can no longer use you as a tool for their own manipulation. God bless you. And thank you for tuning in briefly for Straight Truth Moment with ELS, better known as Pastor Langford Stevens III of Bad Fruit Outreach Ministries. Just remember, manipulators only complicate what they can't manipulate. God bless you and take care.